Hello students, welcome to a lesson through the virtual training center of the Brihan Mumbai Mahanagar Palika. My name is Shraddha teacher, and in this lockdown period, since we are not able to go to school children, we will be doing many lessons here online through the virtual class. So come on, let's proceed to our lesson for today. So children, our lesson for today will be a lesson in English, and the standard will be standard 4th, and this particular lesson children is going to be about books. Alright, now you know that books are such an important part of our life, isn't it? Now our learning, our teaching, everything has become little digital, where you do not use books like you used to use books when you were in the classroom. But even then children, we all know that when everything becomes normal and when we go back to our classrooms, then our best friends will be our books, which will teach us so many things. But then in today's poem, we are going to talk about the child and that particular child's love for books. Okay, so the child in the poem loves her books. And why does she love her books? That we will see when we read the poem. So this, children, is how you read, isn't it? All of us like to read. Now whenever we read school books, okay, school books which are part of our school book syllabus, for example your science book, your maths book, your EVS book, etc., that time you get to learn so many things. But many of us, as you grow up, now you are in the 4th standard, you're very young now, okay, but when we grow up you will see that there are so many story books available for you to read. Okay, you have books called like Chanda Mama, you have books like the Tinkle. Okay, and even when you go to school you will have books in your school library. So it is not necessary that you should read only your textbooks. There are lots of other books, there are lots of other magazines that you can read. And when you enter the world of books, you will realize that they will very soon become your best friends. Okay, so now come on, let us see what the child in today's poem has to tell us about his or her love for books. So see, this is our poem for today, My Books. And as you can see in the picture, you can see so many wonderful things, isn't it? In the picture you can see the book opening. See here, there is an image of the book opening, and from the book so many things are coming out. So there are beautiful fairies and there are beautiful sceneries coming out from this book. So do these things actually come out from the book, children, or do you imagine them? When you read, you enter into a wonderful world. Okay, and these books, they take you to so many places. You sit in your chair and you read, but the books take you to so many different places in different corners of the world. They can also take you to places which you see in your dreams, that is, which are not real, they are imaginary. But when you read the book, you will really feel like you're seeing all these different things. That is why the poet or the child in the book in the poem says that that particular child loves his or her books. Now let's read the lines of the poem. The first time I read it, I will read it for you without explaining the lines. Then when we will go to each of the lines individually, I will tell you what they mean and also the meaning of the new words that you might see here. So let us start. Just see where I am marking the line so that you can also follow me. So I love my books. They are the homes of queens and fairies and knights and gnomes. Okay? Each time I read, I make a call on some quaint person large or small, who welcomes me with a hearty hand and leads me through his wonderland. Each book is like a city street along whose winding way I meet new friends and old who laugh and sing and take me off adventuring. So, there are 12 lines in this particular poem. There are 3 stanzas, and if you see the name written below, it is written anonymous. Anonymous means we really do not know who has written this piece of poetry or who has written this particular poem. So now, like I promised earlier, let us go to each line and using beautiful pictures, try and understand the meaning of each of these lines. So let's start. I love my books. That means that I love to read. Can you see how nicely this child is reading? And he is so engrossed. Even if you go and poke him, he will not realize it because he's reading with so much of interest. Okay, let us look at someone else. See here, she is also reading. She is also not bothered about what is happening around her. Okay, so reading is a hobby, children, like I told you, which you should try to develop. Apart from your school books, you should try to read other books as well. You can start now, since you're very young, you can start with storybooks, and slowly you can try and read other books as well. Because books are your best friends and you will start loving your books like these children love their books. Okay, so you can see how nicely they are reading and they are so busy in their reading. So nowadays you unnecessarily watch TV, you play games on the computer which spoil your health, isn't it? So instead of that, you can develop reading as a hobby. So what is the first line in our poem? It is, I love my books. They are the homes of queens and fairies. So see, this is a queen and she is a fairy. So who's a queen? We can say that the queen is the wife of a king. Okay, and let's see who a fairy is. See, this is one more image of a fairy. I will tell you what the meanings are. So, what is the first line in the poem? Let us look at the first line again. I love my books. They are the homes of queens and fairies. Okay? And knights and gnomes. Now see children, the spelling is Knights, but I'm not saying knights, I'm saying knights. And the second spelling is Gnomes, but I'm saying gnomes, I'm not saying gnomes. Why? Because the K and the G are both silent letters in the word. Now when we go to the exercise part of this lesson, I will tell you in detail how these words are silent, and I will show you many examples of words in which certain letters are silent. And knights and gnomes. Now who are these people? Knights and gnomes. So out of these two, one was real, but the other one is imaginary. Okay, so which one was real? It was the knight who was real. So who's a knight actually? The knight is no one but a soldier. Now look at the clothes, or look at what the soldier has worn. What do you think? Is he a soldier now, or was he a soldier in the ancient times? Yes, a knight was a soldier in the ancient times when there were kings and queens and lords. Okay, so this is a knight. Let us see one more image of a knight. So a knight is famous for riding a horse. So all the knights usually have a horse which they ride. Okay, so you will very seldom, you will not see a knight who doesn't have a horse. So, and knights and gnomes. Now what are these gnomes? See, nice, na? So cute he is. So is it someone real? No, the gnome is an imaginary creature. We will see the meaning of all these words also, children, don't worry. Okay, so and knights you saw, and these are gnomes. So the gnome can be a male, that is a boy, or the gnome can also be a female, that is a girl. But one thing about gnomes are that they are very, very cute. Isn't it? They're so pretty and they're so cute. So knights and gnomes. So why does the child love his books? Because in the books the child gets to meet queens and fairies and knights and gnomes. So let us look at our queen and fairy again. See, out of the queen and out of the fairy, the queen is real. Okay, you can actually see queens even today in certain countries. But fairies are imaginary. They are found only in stories. That means that in the books you will find real people also and you will find imaginary people also. Out of these two, the knight and the gnome, the knight was real, whereas a gnome is imaginary. See how she's dancing? Anna? So come on, let's move on and let's see the meanings of some words which came up in these stanzas. So we have queen. So who's a queen, children? A queen is a female ruler of a kingdom or state or country. We can also say that the king's wife is called as the queen. But if you check the dictionary for the meaning, you will see that the queen is described as the female ruler of a kingdom or a state or a country. Now we had many famous queens in India also. Out of that we know about Rani Lakshmi Bai of Jhansi, isn't it? We have heard about Rani Lakshmi Bai of Jhansi. So that is a queen. Let us look at the meaning of a fairy. So who's a fairy? A fairy is an imaginary being of human form. That fairy is imaginary. Okay, we do not know whether the fairy is really there or not. No one has seen a fairy. It is only part of a story. But it has got a human form. It looks like a human being. See here, she's got two eyes, she's got one nose, a mouth, two hands, two legs, and she has got magical powers also. And she is a female one. A fairy means female. It's a girl. Plus, you will always see that the fairy has a wand in her hand. What is a wand? You can see that stick with a star. With that wand, she performs magic. Okay? And you will also see that the fairy has got beautiful transparent wings which she uses to fly from here to there. So we have two words here. One is queen, who is the female ruler of a state or a kingdom or a country. And the other one is a fairy, who is an imaginary being of human form that has magical powers, especially a female one. Let us move on and see some more meanings from this particular stanza. So you have a knight. Now I told you what a knight is, isn't it? I told you that he is a soldier actually who serves a king, or you can say a lord in the olden times. So let's see what the dictionary says about the meaning of a knight. So a soldier from the Middle Ages. Middle Ages means ancient times, who served his king or lord as a mounted soldier in armor. So the knight, he wears an armor. Armor means metal clothes. Okay, so that if someone attacks him, he will not get wounded. And also he's a mounted soldier, means he usually travels on horseback. Okay, so this is a knight. In our country also we have soldiers who served Shivaji Maharaj, okay, who served many other great kings. So the same way these soldiers used to serve the king or the lord, and they were called as the knights. Let us look at the next meaning, gnome. So I told you what are gnomes. Who's a gnome? A gnome is a legendary dwarfish creature supposed to guard the earth's treasures underground. So sometimes people say in stories that if you dig this place on the surface of the earth, you will get a lot of diamonds and gold and things like that. So who is a gnome? A gnome is a legendary dwarfish creature. Now I will tell you what the meaning of a dwarf is. Okay, who guards the earth's treasures. These people are supposed to be guarding the treasures of the earth. Let us move on and see what is the meaning of dwarfish. So dwarfish is a word derived from the word dwarf. So who is a dwarf, children? See here, there are 3 men standing here. Can you see? Out of that, 2 people are of normal height, and the third person, this person that you see, height is extremely less. Okay, compared to the other 2 people, this person is very, very short. So this person is said to be a dwarf, or he's said to be dwarfish. Dwarfish means like a dwarf. Now children, remember, he's not a child. Dwarfs are not children. Okay, you will say that children are also short, but children are not dwarfs. Dwarfs have got some kind of problem in their body, that their body never grows in height. Okay, now for example, you must have gone to see a circus sometimes. Nowadays you will not see circuses so much, but if you have seen a circus, or if you have seen a video of a circus, you will see that these kind of dwarfs, they perform in circuses as jokers. You will see a joker running around with painted face and making you laugh. So those people are also usually dwarfs. Okay, so I hope you understood what the meaning of a dwarf is. So let us move on. Each time I read, I make a call on some quaint person, large or small. Okay, so each time this child reads, he makes a call. He makes a call means he visits, okay, on some quaint person, large or small. So now we know which people does he meet in the books. So he meets not only fairies, not only queens, not only knights, not only gnomes, but also large people, that is giants, and small people, that is dwarfs. Okay, then let us see the next line. Who welcomes me with a hearty hand and leads me through his wonderland. So see, the dwarfs and the giants, they welcome this child with a hearty hand, means they're very happy to welcome this child into their world. And how is their world? See, they're welcoming him, they're taking him through their wonderland. So what is wonderland? See, this is wonderland. Look carefully at this picture. See, what all things can you see? Have you ever seen these kind of things outside your house? Like for example, you have a house in each of the tree. Can you see so many trees around? In all the trees you have one house. Can you see some mushrooms here? Inside mushrooms also people are living. And look at the beauty of the flowers. So this is wonderland. See, this could also be wonderland. Alright, so all these people, the giants and the dwarfs, they hold the child's hand and they take the child through all this wonderland when he is reading the books. So he gets all this joy when he is reading the books. That is why he's saying in the beginning of the poem that he loves books. I love my books, he says, isn't it? Moving on, let's look at some meanings now from this stanza also. So we have make a call on. Make a call on means what? To pay a visit to someone. When you make a call on means you pay a visit to someone. For example, if you come to know that one of your friend is not well, that friend is not coming to school, so you make a call on your friend, means you go and visit your friend. So here, who does a child make a call on? The child makes a call on the giants and the dwarfs. Okay? And also on the queens, and also on the fairies, and also on the knights and the gnomes. So inside the book, he is able to meet so many people, he is able to visit so many people. Quaint means what? See, quaint means attractively unusual or old-fashioned. Look at this. This is a quaint cottage. Quaint means something which is very beautiful, but something which is very old-fashioned, or something which you will not be able to see today. So this is a quaint cottage. See how beautiful it is. When you look at this cottage, only you feel like going and living in that cottage, isn't it? But have you ever seen a cottage like this around you? It is very difficult. That is why we call it as a quaint cottage. So who are quaint here? Why is the word quaint used in this particular poem here? Let us see where this word quaint is used. So the word quaint is used here where he says that he meets quaint people. Some of them are large and some of them are small. That means these people are unusual, but they are very attractive. They are not scary. Okay, you don't feel scared when you see them, but you like to see them, you love to look at them. Okay, children, so let us now move on. We saw all these lines. We went back to see where quaint was used in our poem. Okay, now let's go to the last stanza of our poem. Each book is like a city street along whose winding way I meet. So have you seen a city street? It goes on and on and on. Winding means a long way. Okay, so whenever I open a book, that is whenever the child opens a book, it is like entering into a city street which is long and which is winding. But along these streets, now when suppose things become normal, very soon things will become normal and we will be able to go to school, you will be able to visit your friends, isn't it? So when you step out of your house into the street and suppose you want to go to school, you will see many people whom you know, isn't it? On the way, you will meet friends, you will meet friends with parents, you will meet the parents of your friends, you will meet your friend's sister, brother. And what do you do then? You laugh, you smile, you talk to them, you greet them. Okay? So each book is like a city street along whose winding way I meet. Whom does a child meet? New friends and old, who laugh and sing and take me off adventuring. So the child meets so many friends. Some of them are old, some of them are new, and they all laugh and sing and they have a lot of fun together. Adventuring means having some fun. So this was a beautiful poem about books and about why the child loves books. Now children, as usual, what we will do is we will try to do some exercises which are there in our textbook. Okay, and always remember that when we do the exercise, what should you do? You should try to find the answers yourself. Okay, so pause the video, try to find the answers when I show you a question. So let us check out what our questions are or what our exercises are. So remember when I read the line about knights and gnomes, I told them that in the knights the K is silent and in the gnomes the G is silent. So they're asking us to write at least 10 examples of silent letters in words. So I will show you many examples, okay? Then you should try and find out 10 examples of your own. So let us start with some examples with images. Then we will go to the ordinary words. So look at this word. What is this? Who is this first? It is our favorite comic book hero, isn't it? Spider-Man. What is Spider-Man doing? Spider-Man is climbing the wall. Okay? Can you and me do it? We will fall off, isn't it? So don't try this. What is this word called? This word is called climb. Now see, you will not say climber. Even though there is a B there, you will say climb because the B is silent. Okay? So C-L-I-M-B is climb. It is not climb. Alright? Let's look at one more word now. See, what is this? What was this? This was your arm. Okay? And this is your leg. Now there is a common word for your arms and legs. They are called as limbs. What are they called? Limbs. Now for example, one arm is one limb, one leg is one limb. Okay? So do you say limber? No, you say limb. Okay? So the B is silent over here. Let us look at one more example. Where have you seen this thing? Yes, you have seen it on the doors of cupboards, okay, on the entrance doors in your house. So what is this thing called? It is called as a knob. So see, like night. Night is K-N-I-G-H-T and this is K-N-O-B. So am I saying knob? No, I'm saying knob. So the K is silent. So children, here in the climb, the B is silent. In the limb, the B is silent. In the knob, the K is silent. Let us look at many more examples now. Look at this. All these words where the K is silent. I will read it for you quickly. What you can do is you can pause this video and read it at your own speed. So we have K-N-A-C-K, knack, K-N-E-A-D, need, K-N-W-E, knee, K-N-W-L, kneel, then you have K-N-E-L-L, knell, K-N-E-W, new, K-N-I-F-E, knife, and of course we talked about night. Then you have K-N-I-T, knit. We talked about knob. Then there is knock, there is not, there is know, and there is knowledge. So all these K's are silent. Okay? Now you have a tough job, children, today because I will give you so many examples that it will become difficult for you to find new words. But then that is the challenge. You have to open up the dictionary and search for words where letters are silent. Moving on. See where the B is silent. So you have bomb, you have climb, you have comb. Many people say give me the comb, but that is wrong. It is give me the comb. Then you have debt, you have doubt, you have dumb, lamb, limb, numb, plumb. See, we say plumber, isn't it? The person who comes to repair the pipes, etc. in a house. What do you call him? You call him the plumber, but he is actually not the plumber, he is the plumber. Then you have subtle. See this word? S-U-B-T-L-E. The B is not said at all there. You say subtle. Then you say succumb, thumb, tomb. So these are all words where the B is silent. So you will see sometimes the B is in the end. Okay? Sometimes the B is in the center. So there is no order. So the silent letter can be in the beginning, the silent letter can be in the middle of the word, or the silent letter can be in the end of the word. Let us see one more list where the H is silent. So you have hour, architect, chaos, character, chemical, chemist, eco, ghost, monarch, scheme, school, stomach, technical, honest. You don't say honest, you say honest. You start with the sound of the O. So the H is silent. Again you will see the H is in the beginning somewhere the H is in the middle, and at the other places the H is at the end of the word. Okay? Then you have the silent L. See? This is a mistake which all of us make, many of us make, not all. We say would, we say should, but it is would, it is should. Calf, half. Salmon. Salmon is a kind of fish which we call it as a ravas. Okay, so salmon. Then you have talk. Do you say talk? You don't say talk. Do you say half? No. So in the same way, you should not say would or should. And the last set of words is Wednesday. Many of us say Wednesday, but it is not Wednesday, it is Wednesday. Sandwich, handsome. So you can see these are so many words where the letters are silent. Certain letters, one letter each word is silent, and the silent letter can come in the beginning, it can come at the end, or it can come right in the middle of the word. So this was a very interesting exercise, isn't it, children? And I've given you a very challenging exercise now. So we have done more than I think 50 words now. So it is a challenge for you now to find out words which have silent letters in them. You can do it by checking on the internet, or you can, the best way when we are talking of books now, this lesson, this poem is about books. So the best way is to go to a book, that is the dictionary. We have learnt about dictionaries also in this textbook, isn't it? So go to the dictionary and find out words where letters are silent. Let's move on to the next exercise that we have. So let us see what the child finds in the books which he or she reads. So in short, you're supposed to write. Okay? So come on, try and write it, and then you can check the answer which I will give you now. So the child finds queens and fairies, knights and gnomes in the books which she reads. That is why the child loves to read books, isn't it? So things which you can see in your real life and you cannot see also. Now there are queens, but you cannot see a queen now, isn't it? You will have to go to a palace, you will have to go and see her, which is very difficult for people like us. And there are certain things which are not there at all. For example, fairies and gnomes. But the child can see all these things in the book when she reads. Okay? So this is what the child finds in the books. Then what else? She also finds quaint people. We saw what is quaint. Quaint means people who are very beautiful but very unusual. Whom does she find? She finds quaint people like giants and dwarfs who take her to Wonderland. And the child also gets a chance to roam around the streets, meeting and greeting her friends. So this is in short about what the child finds in books. Now there is one last question which you are supposed to answer. Now let me give you my answer for this. So the question is, write about the book you like and why do you like this book. Now children, if you ask me, there is the Jataka tales or the Jataka tales which I love very much. I like to read the Jataka tales a lot. Now what are these stories about? These stories are about animals, okay? But these stories are connected to the various previous births of Gautama Buddha. Alright, so in these stories, children, you will see there is a lot of moral. That is, these stories teach you a lot of things about your life, how you should live your life, etc. That is why I like the stories from the Jataka tales. Now what you will do is, you will write the stories which you like. See, Jataka tales is all about animals. You can see some beautiful animals over here. The monkey's heart is also a very good story. I hope you must have heard it. If you've not heard it, then what you should do is, you should try to find out the book about Jataka tales and you should try to read them. See, this is one more story. A friend in need is a friend indeed. Okay? So this is my favorite storybook. So come on, you also think about which is your favorite storybook and try to tell it to your friend or your mother or your brother who's at home. So children, in today's lesson, we talked about the poem My Books. We read the poem properly and I explained the meaning of the poem to you. We also saw the meaning of the new words in the poem and we did a few exercises which are there along with the poem. So children, wasn't that a wonderful video? And did you enjoy watching it? So if you want to watch more such videos in future, then please like this video and also subscribe to our channel, the MCGM Portal for Education, and also hit the bell button so that you get notified whenever I upload a new video here. Thank you so much for now. Let's meet again soon.